Different people feel differently about Chris Paul, but for you to understand how great CP3 is, you need to listen to NBA legends explain why he's so crazy good.
Chris is a great floor general.
One thing about CP, and he said it all the time, is that he makes teams that he's on better.
But to me, he's the ultimate winner.
As the NBA gets ready to say goodbye to one of the most brilliant basketball minds in the game's history, you should see why the legends think he's more than just a point guard. To most of them, he's a leader, a winner, and generally, just the guy who walked into every gym knowing exactly how to control it. So, what exactly made him such a talent that lasted so long in the league? Let's listen to the legends.
Chris is a great floor general. I'm sure they'll get after it defensively as well.
Kobe's Mamba mentality, combined with the floor general in Chris Paul, was sure to change the league. But for some reason, the NBA didn't allow it to happen. Would Chris Paul have a ring if that trade happened? Kobe Bryant definitely thinks so, because of CP3's competitive nature. And that was Kobe's point when he said this during an interview. The fact is, with Chris Paul, practice is never over when the coach blows the whistle. But that's just one of the things that makes CP3 crazy good. What else? Listen to Magic Johnson here.
Listen, I would tell Jeannie I would add some money to get CP3, because it'll be perfect for LeBron, it would be perfect for AD, and be perfect for the role players. What has Chris Paul done for the Phoenix Suns? Ayton, we didn't see this Ayton until Chris Paul got there, right?
Easier for him, right?
The Bridges, all these guys. He makes the game so easy.
As arguably one of the greatest point guards in the history of the NBA, Magic Johnson respects the way Chris Paul controls the tempo and made the game easier for young bigs. The way he turns raw talent into winning basketball. We'll hear more about this from Blake Griffin later, but Magic also respects the way CP3 slows the game down when everyone else is panicking. And that's what he meant when he said this.
And then what I love about Chris Paul this year, he's saying, okay, fourth quarter, give it to me. Mid-range. He scored, 10, 12 in a row in Denver when the game was on the line. I was at the game in LA when he said, the Lakers came back. He said, let me put a stop to this. I'm going to take over, score the next 4 possessions, and the game was over.
However, it's hard to understand what people mean when they say Chris Paul makes players better and brings structure to a team. After all, there are lots of players that don't like him. So how was he able to do it?
Like when he came to the Clippers, he brought the professionalism. He brought actual playoff aspirations. I mean, our first year, we struggled to win 35 games, and then CP comes, and we get a whole slew of other vets, and that's when that franchise sort of took off.
Time and time again, we've seen it. The moment CP3 walks through the door, everything on a roster instantly changes. But it wasn't just the wins; it was the standards. Blake and DeAndre Jordan were young, hungry, and still trying to figure out the league. CP walked in and basically said, that's not enough. He got them to step up, but how does he do it? Well, James Harden experienced that firsthand when CP joined him in Houston.
Just reading the game, communicating, making sure that guys are in their spots and another level offensively, seeing what defenses are, how they're playing and impacting. That time I was in Houston, he helped me with the load as far as getting in the paint, creating shots and even being aggressive.
That last part is important because CP doesn't just make big men better. He elevates elite guards too. He teaches rhythm, he teaches angles, he teaches the subtleties that turn good players into great ones. And wait till you hear what Steve Kerr had to say about that part of Chris Paul's influence. But looking at what CP3 helped him achieve, this is what Harden said when asked to speak on Chris Paul's legacy.
Unbelievable career, man. Just a true leader, somebody that our brother, somebody that a real point guard that's definitely impacted the game in a positive way.
And you know he had a huge impact when coaches of opposing teams said this about you.
That's what he did. He controlled the game, got us organized down the stretch when they were threatening. He hit a bunch of big shots, distributed the ball, rebounded. He did everything, but there's a reason, he's going to the Hall of Fame. He's one of the great point guards ever.
But where exactly do the legends rank him among the greatest point guards ever?
But I would say, yes, he's definitely, to me, a top 5 point guard, top 7, 6 point guard of all time.
What about point guards? Where do we
All time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a little production meeting earlier where things got a little bit out of control on this topic.
All time, he got to be top 5 all time.
Well, Charles Barkley takes it one step further, because to him, CP isn't just one of the greatest point guards.
But I want to see Chris Paul win the championship because I think, to me, he's the best leader in the NBA.
But is he truly the best leader in the NBA, considering he's never won a ring, and more importantly, that some teammates dislike him? Let's just say nobody captures the Chris Paul experience better than JJ Redick did here.
I hate saying this. I hope he doesn't win an NBA championship because that would mean the Clippers win an NBA championship and we don't. But to me, he's the ultimate winner.
That is the version of Chris Paul players talk about once the battles are over. He's the guy who holds you to standards you didn't know you had. And nobody understands that better than Steph Curry.
Me and him going way back to North Carolina days, and him kind of being my mentor when I was coming out of college and being able to work out with him and learn the ropes. So one thing about CP, he said it all the time, is that he makes teams that he's on better.
And here's LeBron explaining exactly how Chris Paul makes teams that he's on better.
He's always aware. He knows the tempo of the game. He knows the score. He's always aware when he needs to pick his points. Pick his shots or get into attack and make things happen. And that's why I've always felt that he's the best point guard in the NBA.
But people have always doubted Chris Paul's ability and even his legacy. But time and time again, we've seen CP3 prove people wrong.
Kendrick Perkins say, hey, his legacy is on the line. He's used to blowing 3-1 leads. And I knew that he said, look, if I could take control of this game and win it, that's exactly what he did last night. He came out and played.
This was when he took the Suns to their first NBA final since 1993. And he did it by averaging 21.8 points, 8.2 rebounds, 8.5 assists, and 1.6 steals per game in that playoff run. And still, people don't respect him.
Hey, so I know you're going by numbers, but you think Chris Paul's a better point guard than Rondo?
What are we looking at? What we gauging?
Agent Zero had to set the record straight.
He has the best turnover ratio, assist to
Yeah,
turnover
bro,
ratio.
Okay, that's fine.
You just gotta say who you putting over.
No, I'm just asking.
6-time steals champ.
That's fine.
5-time assist
That's
champ.
fine.
9-time all defensive player.
That's fine.
All
That's
defensive team.
consistency.
We're talking about both sides of the field.
At the end of the day, Chris Paul will not retire having gained love from all NBA players. But the legends will always paint a picture of a player who changed teams, elevated stars, mentored the next generation, and outthought entire defenses for 2 decades. Chris Paul may not have the ring debate on his side, but he has something far rarer: the respect of legends who live the game at the highest level, the admiration of rivals who hated playing against him, and the loyalty of teammates who still call him family. And that is why when players talk about the league after Chris Paul retires, they don't talk about the rings he did or didn't win. They talk about the standard he set. They talk about how he pushed teammates to levels they didn't know they had, irritated opponents who couldn't keep up with his mind, and raised the standards of every locker room he ever walked into. But do you think the league and many players will miss him after he's gone? Well, I'll be reading your comments down below. But if you want to see exactly what players really say behind the scenes about Chris Paul, then you need to watch this video next.